Good evening. Just wanted to do another rather brief video tonight. Just talking about sometimes of what you can run into being the kind of do-it-yourself type of person here. Um, Pretty sure I made one of my last videos is on refinishing this chair, and I know I've done videos on the spool table, but just wanted to get into some details here. Is sometimes the things that you run into and what that can lead to, and potentially how to deal with it. So, I'm going to try to get a wider view of this. A nice old wooden chair that was gifted to us by my father in law. Um, Something from the 80s where they fell in love with lacquer for the better part of a decade. And it needed refinishing. So, I've been actually working on this since last fall. Uh, and it's been fun. It's been interesting. It's actually been a tremendous challenge, but that's what I wanted to get into with this. Is that sometimes we get into these things, and sometimes we bite off a bit more than we might be able to chew. But the main crux of this is to not let the frustration set in, and to manage your projects. And sometimes that even means to walk away from it for a small period of time, is to leave it alone. And I had the fortunate here where we are, obviously Michigan Greyhammer. I'm in Michigan. Um, we had some very very hot days this past summer, and it was pretty easy to work on this and scrape off some of the goo. And I did a couple other small projects where just the tremendous heat out here in my workshop. It was touching 100 degrees out here some days, so that actually helped with some of the sticky things. But this chair in particular is, I'll try to highlight some of the spots here. Started off quite well, and got once I got the easy stuff done, I started tackling the hard stuff, and the hard stuff got harder, as you can see. Um, some of the little, I don't know, balustrades on here or something. Some of the roundy bits here, the more details, getting into edges and things. It's a little less fun. So I did have to walk away from this for a couple. Well, it wasn't hard to walk away from it in the dregs of summer when it was 95 degrees out here. I couldn't work on it without sweating all over it. So that helped. But I came back to it. I started getting on it. I ended up going. I was burning through sandpaper like mad, which was silly of me to try to do. So I did end up getting. I got lucky. Got some tools for the job to help you get the lacquer off, and then sand down some of the stain on it. And finally got to the hard parts and the little bits and the nooks and crannies. You can see pretty good on that. There's still quite a bit of lacquer on there that needs to come off. I finally got my El Cheapo rotary tool out, and that helped for about 10 minutes. And that gave up the ghost, unfortunately. And yeah, my $20 rotary tool from 15 years ago, that's what's left. So it just quit. But got to get another one of those soon. Just waiting on the time and things, and we'll get that going and start again. But I just wanted to throw it out there to some other people that might be watching, to say, hey, if you're doing a thing and you get into it and you hit the wall and things happen and you get kind of pissed off, and don't be afraid to walk away from it and get a couple weeks of perspective on things, tackle it again. Just, I left this, and I'm still looking at the long view, because here we're coming into wintertime. I won't be able to stain it or lacquer it out here because high heat in the summer and super cold in the wintertime. I'm not going to put any stain or lacquer on it because it won't be right. It will come out looking like garbage, and I'm not doing this twice. So, the crux of it, don't get angry. Walk away. Take your time, because it will be worth it in the end. Because I have done another chair similar to this and had to do extra work on it. It was a little bit easier. It wasn't quite as complicated. It didn't have all the extra rounds and works and corners on it. But I did another chair like this about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. That one went together pretty smooth, and I'm happy with the finished product. And it will be a pretty much a forever thing. I know my kids will probably, just a cheap chair from a set from the '80s. My kids will probably love it and all that stuff into their, into their adulthood. So, but take care, all. Get on your projects when you can. Make a few minutes here and there. That's another thing on this. I had to make a few minutes here and there. I would come out for 10 or 15 minutes and just stand on it, work on it a little bit. And sometimes that 10 minutes evolves into a half hour and you actually make some progress on it. But I'm still kicking away on this. It won't be done until next summer, but that's okay. And with that, I will bid you all a good night. Thank you.